If you need technical assistance during your call, press *0. There are these in conference. In queue.
Great. Hello? Hi. Who is this?
Hi. This is. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Fine, thank you. Thank you for the conference. Sorry.
We're just waiting a few minutes for more people to show up.
The host is on the line?
Yes. My name is Alexa Recio, and I'm the host at McGraw Hill, and Craig Gill, who also works for McGraw Hill as a field publisher, is going to be our presenter.
I'm calling from abroad, and normally for regular phone calls from France to the United States, they're free under my telephone plan, but this is a total number, so I really am not sure how that works. Do you know?
How are you calling from France to the U.S.?
The 877-918-6294, 77. That's a zip code.
This is a toll-free number.
Code. Yeah. And this is the only telephone number because I'm not really sure how it works from abroad. If it's cell phone, it was considered a direct line, but I don't know. Well, you wouldn't know that, would you?
I don't. Sorry, I don't know how it is for international calls.
Okay. And then the only telephone number that you can use, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It should be toll-free from wherever you're calling.
Okay.
I don't know what happens with your minutes, but...
It should be, well, toll-free in the United States don't really work abroad. I had a message that said that it would not work, and I would be charged at a direct rate, which is fine if that's the case. But, well...
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
For those of you that are on the call now, do you see my Centro Solutions Instructor Orientation screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Unfortunately, my computer is having a lot of problems, so I'm going to be part of this because I'm somewhat familiar, but I don't want to delay anybody, and unfortunately my computer is just really not working. So I'll just listen to what you have to say and just take notes, and I have questions of my own as well.
Okay, not a problem. And there's a little bit of a delay on anything that I click, and I may start talking about something, and it takes a second or two for it to show up on your screen. So that's normal for the presentations.
Okay.
And we'll give an extra minute or so for a few more people to join us. So
Maybe time. My computer is extremely slow.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes now, and I've just not been lucky.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I just and wondering if there's anything I'm supposed to do now.
If you see the instructor orientation screen, then you are fine, and we're just holding steady, waiting for a few more people to join.
I'm going to try to switch to my landline phone, okay?
Okay, no problem. You just call back in on that phone.
Okay.
No problem.
I'm in. I'm just waiting for the instructor orientation.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm in, and I'm just waiting for the teleconference. This is Greg?
Yep, it's on.
Hi, Greg.
For those of you that are on the first thing I'm going to ask everybody to do is put their phone on mute so that.
I'm going to put it on speaker. Is that okay?
I'm going to put myself on speaker as well.
Put it on speaker, but make sure you put it on mute as well, so that not the other 20 people on the call hear if your other phone rings, the television's on, in the background, your washing machine starts running, etc. Alexa, I think we're ready.
Yes, and you have control of the WebEx, and everything is recording, so you're good to go.
Excellent. Well, to everybody on the call and on the WebEx, thanks for joining us today. The goal that we have set out is really to orient you to Centro, to the website, to the general questions that are going to come up from you get into the program, and from your students so they get logged in and start using it. Have another set of webinars for advanced users. In other words, you go from first time to advanced, all in 90 minutes. If you'd like to get more detail on how to do some more detailed, complex things in terms of organizing your course and customizing the website and whatnot. So today, it will feel like we're going very fast through the basics, and that's because we probably will be. I will not be showing you everything on the website, and there will be or two that I've not heard yet or cannot answer, and then Alexa and I will write that down and then make sure that we get that back out to you when we have the answers. So that said, my name is Craig Gill, and I'm the World Language Field Publisher out in the West, specifically California, and Alexa is our wonderful marketing coordinator. And WebEx and this phone call. So if you have any questions, just take your phone off of mute and ask your question, and we'll do our best to answer it as best that we possibly can. We will be going over what is Centro in general, and make sure you know what it is and where to find it and how to get support. And then go through very quickly how to create accounts and courses and classes, sort of define terms so you understand what's on the website and where it is, what the students will experience, what you will experience, and some different setup options in terms of how do you want the computer grading activities. As we go through this, if you're not familiar with WebEx, we're obviously on a conference call on our phone, and then separately from that, you're viewing my laptop via WebEx. So a couple of things to know. Don't close your browser. Even if you get an email that you need to attend to or something comes up, just minimize, but don't close the actual browser, the Internet Explorer or the Firefox. That will close you out of the whole website, and you'll need to start by going to the link and signing back in. There's a shag time between anything that I click on and what you might see on your screen, so I will do my best to slow enough to let the computer catch up with what it is I'm discussing. If you can keep your phones on mute, just so we don't all have to hear the that may be in your background. If you have a question, obviously just take the phone off mute and just jump in and interrupt, and that's not a problem at all. If you get another phone call, please. Hi.
Question.
Yes.
So to listen to fine, but I don't see you on web. So do I see you? Yes.
Hi. Well, first, did you log into the WebEx? Were you seeing it before it went away?
It's asking me for my name and my mine. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. You got it. Yeah. And if you were already logged in and your screen goes dark, black, or blue or whatnot, shake your mouse and wake it up. It's probably your computer going to sleep. Going to sleep mode. That will happen, especially since you're just watching, not actually doing anything on your computer. If for any reason, for your campus, slow internet, bad with the computer, if it locks up or disconnects, or you feel like I'm talking about a page and you are nowhere near that, it is possible that for whatever reason, your computer froze up or that was froze up. You can always close your browser and log in again, just going back in through the link that we sent you the first time. And if for any reason you get completely out, call 866-93239. and then give them our meeting number, 553-243-033, and they'll be able to get you hopefully back in if you have. So far in these WebExes, I don't think there's been any issues that needed that, but you never know. So we're going to be CENTRO. And it is, for those of you familiar with Kia, Kia is this website. They authored it and they service it for us, but CENTRO is McGraw Hill's proprietary version of Kia because we wanted to add features and take more ownership of the site. So when you go to CENTRO, if you're familiar with Kia, you will see what you've seen in the past. And then obviously, depending on what book you're using, you will see different features, different resources. On the call with us right now, we may have Spanish, French, Italian, and or German instructors. So I'll go through the demo over the next 90 minutes or so. We're going to focus on one book for the sake of simplicity, but keep in mind that your particular book may have different features. Obviously, we'll have different videos and different questions. Some books have interactive ebooks and some do not. So just keep in mind, you'll want to go into your particular book website and your particular version of CENTRO and explore and see what's available there for you and for your students. So CENTRO is, as I said, a version of Kia, and it's found at mhcentro.com, mhcentro.com. That's you and your students will go to access the website, regardless of what book, what language, what course you're teaching. Everything we have is at that website. So, MH, like McGraw Hill,
Yeah.
Centro.com, CENTRO.com.
Okay. Okay.
If you have a Kia account, by the way, and I'll go over this later, but just so you know too, if you have a Kia account ready or you'd worked with Kia 3 years ago, they remember you and you'll probably end up using your same name and password. So that's how embedded the two are. So on your book, you have an entirely active ebook. You will only have instant feedback and unlimited practice for your students. Always load the audio program, the full audio program. We have interactive exercises, graded and not graded. So not only the book and lab manual, but additional practice for your students to practice their language skills. And video clips, depending on the book. It may be Soviento, and it may be the full movie. It may be a variety of clips available from a particular book. Again, depending on which program you're using. Yes.
Yes, Feeney, I just had a question. Do you have any support for Irish language?
For which language? Irish?
Yes.
No yet.
No Irish yet. Okay.
No Irish yet.
This website that I may be able to use anyhow?
What book will you be using?
Like Progress in Irish.
Well, the websites, the CENTRO websites are built book specific to support a particular text. So, and mostly or entirely the elementary and intermediate versions of our textbooks in Spanish, French, Italian, and German at this point. So, so that's what the focus is now. And then forthcoming, when we have something like Chinese coming soon, then we'll have a version for that as well. But it isn't set up to be generic so that you could use it across any particular title. The content is really focused on the book that it's supporting.
Can I ask a quick question? What time did this seminar start? What time did this webinar start?
At noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, 'cause I got in about 5 after 3. I was a little bit late. Okay, I can still continue on then.
Oh, no problem at all. We're still getting we haven't even gotten into the website yet. You're okay.
Oh.
Hi.
Finally was able to get online, and I'm trying to get onto your site. I'm looking for Meeting Center. Do I click Event Center?
Alguien está perdido también. Con esto, ¿no?
Remember that if you're not asking a question, make sure that you're on mute so that you're not hearing any discussions you got going on in the back.
Start at 3, Nick. It started at 3.
You are having trouble logging on. Alexa, I don't want to move off my screen here, but I think it says Meeting Center, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you click on Meeting Center.
For the professor who asked that question, you should be seeing slideshow right now.
Yeah, you should go directly.
Okay, on to the 3 o'clock. And Central, okay, I see, but you're an hour behind us. So I click Central Online Training. Alexa, she was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I click that?
Yes, you do.
Okay, thanks.
There you go. The page that I'm on right now is the ongoing support. So this is the support for Centro. So, many have, hopefully, wonderful relationships with your local McGraw Hill representative, and they, of course, will be able to assist you in getting account set up, your book keys, may be able to answer any specific service questions in regards to your students and what they're buying in the bookstore, etc. But when it comes to actually Centro and Kia and technical support, a variety of resources for you, and we encourage you to use them. They are really great. The first is you may use in the middle of the night when you have a problem or a question in regards to the tech support, actual technology. I can't find this. When I click this, it doesn't work. I loaded something and I don't know where it went. Those type questions you can send. You can go to mhcentro.com/support. And when we get to the website, I'll also show you where all these links are.
I'm trying to log on, and I have Alexa name, meeting status not started. Duration 1 hour.
Could you please your browser, because it definitely has started.
Yeah, and do I have a password?
Yes, the password in the email with the instructions I sent you.
That's the problem. I just.
The password.
I have to go back. I have a different host name. Terry Harvey?
Come on.
Terry, the right host name?
No, you might be in the wrong meeting.
Alexis? No, this is what Alexis Training for SMC.
No, anything else. You should be in the CENTRO Online Training for first-time users.
Okay, that's where I tried to go to, and I got to you.
Should I click join?
Yes, click join.
Now, it says you are the host, which I'm not.
You gotta read the instructions.
If you are the host, start your meeting. But
be able to follow, it takes you step by step. As we're getting that figured out, I'm just going to continue on in this screen. You want to write down mhcentro.com/support. This phone number here, the 877-282-4400, extension 2 phone number, great. And they're located, the service, the tech support guys are located here and here in California. And when you hit that number 2 extension, you dial in most cases, you will immediately meet a live tech support person. be able.
Nick, can you come here a minute? Speakerphone. I need to put this on speakerphone. Right there, right
Make
there.
your phone on mute, folks. The support guys are great, and in most cases, you will actually speak directly with a live person right away. Probably times where that will be a little more difficult, obviously, are in the first few weeks of the semester, so like now. And then towards the end of the semester when everybody is rushing to finish their courses and are cranking through the grade book and doing finals and having questions to finish up the semester. It'll be like shopping at Christmas at that time. But they do a fantastic job of being able to answer any questions and even log into your course and help you specifically with a question you may have on any particular page. They can go into your grade book and into your profile. If you have any questions about your username and password, do not call your local rep because we consider accessing private information. And so you have to call Kia, you have to call Centro, the service guys at the number on your own so that they can ask you the particular security questions to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you are not a student trying to sneak their way into a professor's course. So username or password questions, call that 877 number. They'll be able to reset your passwords or help you locate your user ID. If you are logging in for the very first time creating an account and it keeps telling you that this username is taken or this email already exists in our system, there's a high probability that you already logged in at some point with them in the last few years, and they're remembering that, and you're not using the right password or username. So they'll be able to work through all of those issues and get you finalized. So I'll show you the following things here, but as we move through the pages, you will see help buttons that take you to the online guide, FAQs for free questions, and then tech support. Okay, so we're going to go to mhcentro.com, and we're going to go into my site. Obviously, I work with all of the language books, so you're going to see more than you would possibly see in your course, because I don't think any of you are teaching 19 classes.
Excuse me. You know what I have on the screen now? I followed everything fine, but I have topics, CENTRO Online Training for first-time users. And then I have present a document, share an application, share your desktop.
Sir, could you please email me so I can help you through email so that the presentation is not
Same problem now.
Invite by email.
Okay, email me. You have my email address. My name is Alexa Recio. I sent all of you an email today, so if you're having any issues, please email me and I'll help you through email.
Okay, so this is Rona Haftel, and I can't seem to get into your seminar.
Could you please email me and I'll help all of you with your questions?
Okay, just give me that address again, please.
Okay, in your email address because I emailed you the instructions.
Yes, you did. Okay, thank you. We'll do that now. Bye.
Now I did get a screen having Centro on it with username and the password. Again?
Yes. For questions, please email me so Craig can continue his presentation.
Okay. So now you should be seeing the Centro homepage, and we already know that's mhcentro.com. This is where you will go for whatever book you're using. Your students will go here as well. When you log in with the username and password that you created. Obviously, I have an account set up, so I have a username and password. But for those of you that have not already set it up, you're going to go to create an account here. And we'll click on that create an account. It will ask you for a username and a password that you are going to put in here for the first time. You're obviously creating the account. Sure that no matter what you do, as soon as you type in that username and password, that you write it down, and you write it down in a place that you're going to find it and remember it. I'm only reiterating that because it is the number one question that we get at the beginning of a semester. I don't know or can't remember my username and password. So make sure you write it down. And again, like I said, if you can't remember it, you'll have to call Kia Centro directly because we at McGraw cannot can access it. First name here, and I'm going to type in Craig. This is what your students will see. So if you wanted to say Mr. Craig or Mrs. Alessio, that's where you want to type it in. This is what is going to be public information to your students. Okay? Country, city, state, zip code, and time zone is obvious. The reason we're asking for that information is so that the tech support folks will be able to find you in their system, and you call, or if you call, with any question or problem. I'm not going to do it now because I'm not actually creating the account. The system is for a book key. And the book key is the piece of information that you're going to need to receive your rep. Your rep will give you a book key. I'll say in a minute why that's important. Here is my Centro workstation, and I have listed below me all the different demonstration classes for all of our books here. That book key is what is going to, and you see here, it asks here for a book key, is going to be the program you're working and teaching out of. You'll receive their book key in the bookstore with the textbook that you're using in your course. That is access code. So the book key is very important for you, and you and your students have different keys. When we give you a book key, it's an instructor one. The students, obviously, in the bookstore will be buying a student version of that book key. So anytime you see that, do you have a book key, that's what you need. That's the piece of information you need to get from your rep. That will be the, I believe, 16 or 20-digit nonsense code that makes absolutely no sense, that you just use once to load into your particular website. I'm going to go down and go here to my Dos Mundos course. This is just a demo course that we have set up with some fictitious students just so we can do trainings like this. If, again, just to remind you, if you're using a book, you will get that website, use your book key, and then you will see there what type of features and resources are available for your particular book. But for this demonstration, we're going to use Dos Mundos. You can see here, this I called it Dos Mundos 7th edition Stony Brook, and under my classes, you set up 10 different courses. And again, this is just a demo site, so you wouldn't have 10 different classes here. What we call a class, you refer to as a section. Okay? So if you Spanish 101, teach 3 sections, would have 3 classes set up here with respective students in each of those classes, or again, what you would call sections. So one of the things I wanted to keep in mind is the course is your big 101, Spanish 102, the big number. These are your individual sections. The important thing to keep in mind, you will be able to create one common website for all sections. Yeah, what I'm telling you is you don't have to recreate the wheel 3 times if you teach the 3 different sections. It changes across all 3 sections, but obviously for the sake of your grade book and your communications and your own administration within the class, you want to set up one class that you teach. Okay? If you create a new class, you simply click on the button here, create a new class, and you begin the process of naming it, determining its writing in its location if you want, that's optional, the and times, and the you have TAs or grad assistants working with you and you want to share a course with them, you could put their usernames here. Okay, hold for 1 sec and ask, is there any questions about the difference and the differentiation between a course and a class?
When I went to a demo, Sheldon Deckard had a Duchess on campus in May. He just put a section, just just to do it, but he
Right.
to delete that. I did put my class and section, but those are 2 and 3. Number 1, I just wanted to delete. He just gave number 5 to 10. How do I delete that?
I'll show you very, very quickly, and then later on when I get to that section of the demonstration, I'll show it in a little more detail. But you could just go to into your class.
I'm clicking to delete.
Now, just watch what I'm doing. Go into the class, you go into options, and you go delete class. Demo course that you had set up.
Oh, wait. I clicked class, but what came out? Where do I see delete? I don't see it.
Why? Don't look at your own screen. Look at mine.
I don't see your screen.
Well, then we have an issue. You should be on the WebEx.
I can't get to CENTRO. I don't understand.
No. I don't want you getting into your own course. You should be watching my WebEx.
Even get in. I'm still on CENTRO Online Training.
Professor, can you email me and I'll help you?
I did already, Alexa.
Oh, you're Professor Fran Rakucci? Perfect. So I was helping another professor, so I'll help you right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Go to class, option, and delete class. I'll be showing it later, so no worries if you're missing it right now. Okay. So what we're going to do.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Would you while you're presenting, I guess some people that have not muted the phone while you're talking, and there's a interference, if they could please do that. Thank you.
Yes. Those of you that don't have your phone muted, we definitely need it muted.
Craig, I've got a question.
Yes.
In a section that you set up, a class section, is there a number of students you can put in that?
I don't believe so. I work with a couple professors that have online classes where they just have basically one giant online class, and I'm speaking of hundreds of students.
Okay.
And nobody's told me they've bumped into the number, so
okay. Thank you.
I believe so. I'll write that question down. We'll see, maybe 1,000. I just don't know anybody teaching language with 1,000 students.
But I put sections together, so I was just wondering. Thank you.
No problem. Is there a limit? I'm just section. So here, first thing we're going to do, so that's classes. And when you set up these classes, I just want to reiterate, it means section. And then when you set up that class, you may be wondering, okay, now how do I tell my students section to sign up for after they get their course materials? When you have a class, the computer creates a specific code for that class or section. And you will see this in any class you set up. You will see this gray box here on your dashboard, and it will have a code. This specific, which reads right now RPDE69, the code is specific to that specific section. If you teach 3 sections, you'll have 3 different codes. And what you'll do is you will go to the printable illustration instructions. I click and separate a section-specific instruction for you to hand out to your students that has that code. You will see right here this code. Now, some instructors will print this page out and hand it to all their students on the first day of class. Save some paper. You can copy and paste this either load it to your individual instructor page. You could present it as a PowerPoint at the beginning of class. You can put a syllabus. Whatever means that you have to communicate with your students, you could either obviously print here or cut and paste. I do recommend that you provide to the students all information here, just the code. You could write a whiteboard on the first day of class, but you'd be giving up the opportunity to pass along to your students these helpful tips and directions for accessing the course. It'll be some questions that could have been answered simply by your students reading their instructions. So I recommend that you give them all of this information. And basically, the general instructions on how to and what they need to do to get into your section. Okay. So page, you'll see it here in printable registration instructions. See, as we move throughout the website, you will pop up in a variety of different places. Because it's so important, we're going to continuously remind you and give you the opportunity to access it when you need it. I am going to go back to my workstation. And the first and most important thing you're going to want to know is what's available to my students. What are they going to see? What do they work with? To the student side of the text, so we can show the resources and what sort of things are hiding behind the tabs that I'm showing. The computer catches up. What you will see is the Dos Mundos site within that your students have access to. Regardless
How
of
did you get to that student site?
All I did was click here on Dos Mundos Digital Edition. There'll be more than one way to do anything here, but this is how I'm doing it from this page. This right side of the screen, the student side. The left screen is the instructor side. So notice this opens up a new page. So if I want to go back to my instructor side, all I have to do is go to the other website that I have open, I clicked on the wrong one, which is there. Website, and within Centro, you'll see a series of tabs along the top of the screen. Here it would be Cuaderno, grammar tutorials, Los Amigos Animados, videos, online learning center, and resources. These will be different depending on what book you're teaching out of. What I tell you is in most cases, and most of you on this call, there will be a textbook tab for the ebook that you have, some sort of workbook lab manual tab, workbook, lab manual, cuaderno de actividades, it depends on what book, what we call it. Then grammar tutorials, depending on the program you're using. And then supplements like readings, videos, the Learning Center, and everybody has a resources tab. So resources that your students will be using across the tabs. You see how this one's highlighted in a gray or a green? That tells you where you are within the program. If I click on slowly, the Cuaderno tab. So these can tell you where you are. Down the left side is where you'll navigate to the particular chapter that you're working with. Previous and a next button here, and this will take you literally to the next page in the book, as if you were turning the page. So as an interactive ebook, for those of you that have one, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to any chapter here, clicking on 2, and as we literally have brought the book into your computer. Now, remember, I'm just showing you this. It does not mean that you're not going to be working with the paper version of the book. It just means it's available here on the website as well, either for you to use maybe in your class, projected on a screen, or for your students to use because they're at work or at a friend's house and they want to do some of the work and they don't have their book with them. About the interactive e-books, for you that are working with them, is that the activities that we have in the book are available for the students to do here online, and they can be assigned and go right into your grade book. So being a traditional language course, but you like to assign some of the activities from the book for homework, if the activities are discrete answered, short answer questions, the students can do them for homework, they'll be graded by the computer, and they'll flow right into your grade book. Or a online course, this level really helps bring some standardization to the different varieties of courses, traditional, hybrid, or online. Your online students obviously don't get to go into a classroom, so you may not be assigning those, but now you can, and the students can get more practice. Something that's neat about the e-book, a thing that you might find useful, and is that with any of the activities, if the activity includes a audio component, I'm going to go too deeply into these because we do have to move quickly, but if the activity has an audio component, the audio will be embedded into the question. Students have to go anywhere else to hear the audio portion of the exercise.
Is it with all McGraw Hill products?
This is all of the e-books. So depending on what book you're using will depend on whether they're first thing we need to know is there an e-book for that book that you're using? Most of our newer editions, obviously, but if you were using an older edition, or I'm trying to think of what's an example of a text not have an ebook because it hasn't come out in the new edition.
Well, I'm using Pasajes, 7th edition.
I don't believe Pasajes has an ebook yet.
I have an student activity manual, though.
Correct. Yes. And that does have, but it doesn't actually have the book, the real actual
No, that's okay. Can I ask another question, or would you prefer to move on?
About if you know what, I just wanted to very briefly show you what an ebook looks like, an interactive ebook, and how you might be able to use it. So, sure, shoot.
My students are mostly adults. I thought it would be great for them to use the e-workbook, but no coming to me and saying, oh, yeah, but if I had the hard copy, I could over lunch hour or sneak in an hour if I had the hard copy. There's no sense to making them purchase both.
No, that wouldn't be fair and very useful. So no, I wouldn't say that at all. I could turn it around by saying that there's always pluses and minuses. By making it available online for many students, that we're actually opening up the opportunities for them to sneak in a little work here and there because they can do it in the library.
That's what I thought. But again, these are adults, and they cannot use company computers for personal. They're cautious about that. Like maybe they'd go out to their car or sit at their desk, and they're saying, I think I prefer a hard copy of the workbook. And I'm, learning as this goes on. And
you do have to look at your student population. So
exactly.
I completely, I'm empathetic to their plight. The flip side is, of course, one of the great things about this program in Centro is what it's doing for you and what it's allowing you to do in the classroom, because you're freeing up a lot of time and energy, not having to grade so many of the activities. So it's one of those balancing acts.
I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
All
exactly.
right.
Okay, now, you mentioned the word grade, so this should tie in. You said that the work, whether it's from the or the workbook, is the student, when they click that button, submit your answer, where will I find the work? In my grade book?
Yes, and I'll show you that as we get into the workbook and lab manual. I'll show you how that flows.
Not all the work is graded? I mean, do you have that little asterisk, and then they submit everything?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to go through and show you how that's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah. And going back to the for the students that say, you know what, I'd prefer the hard copy. Keep in mind too, they can't do the lab manual at lunch with having some sort of component. So.
They could do all the completion act. They could do the non.
Yeah.
They could do
but they would still need to be on their computer or to the audio.
Right.
So,
and also they said to me that they'd rather have the old-fashioned CD so they could use drive time for study time.
And well, keep in mind, they could download the audio from the website, so they can, if they have an iPod or they want to burn a CD, they can do that. That's not a problem.
Let me just repeat that after you, like a student would. They can go online to the Pasajes website, hear the audio, and download it to an iPod, for example.
Mm-hmm. Those students, keep in mind, those same students that we're doing this, as we hear from everybody, of course, that cost is an issue. And anytime those students, those giant audio programs on CDs, that's not expensive. And this is one way to make everything more cost-effective for them. So in that, I think once you lay out that argument, they quickly realize, you know what, I'll find a computer.
Right. And if they create their own, they can still be listening.
Yeah.
Great.
And for somebody that knows how to do it, it's a very simple process. So move here to the Cuaderno in this case, or for your book, it may be the activities manual or a separate tab for a workbook and lab manual. So again, we are on the student side. This is what the students see. This is what we're experiencing. Here we're in the Cuaderno. Now, remember I was let me go back to the textbook and just point very quickly, remind you of where I was in the textbook. Okay, chapter 3. Now I'm going to click specifically chapter 2, and I'm going to get here to this first activity. Okay, so the book. Now I'm going to click the book lab manual and see how it took me directly to the same section of the lab manual that I had been working in the textbook. This is something that professors and students absolutely love. When you go from one tab, like the textbook, to another tab, like the Cuaderno, you actually go to the same corresponding section. You don't have to start over and find where I was working. And that's something that students very, very much appreciate. If you do want to go to any other place, you could simply click on the link that you want, or you can follow here across the top and go to right to the beginning of the chapter. But that is something, it will take you across to that section of the book. So students really, they don't have to keep track of, I was in section 4.1, activity 2. They can just click on the new tab and it takes them right there. So we're going to quickly just, so you can see what the students experience, the activity. I'm really clicking randomly. I don't know which one I'm doing here. We do know that I am in chapter 2. I'm under the actividades escritas, and I H el tiempo. First up, you will see a special characters palette. I'm going to scroll down just so you can see that the palette stays on the screen. So students always have access to that when they're being asked to type something in. And I want to actually find a different activity that has true, false, and multiple choice. And I did a good job of finding writing activities.
Question.
Yes.
How do we know? How do the students know which exercises we assigned?
On their assignment list, which if you're watching my screen, you see my tools, and they literally assignment list.
Okay.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes.
What happens if I leave in the tracking credit, no credit?
I'm not understanding your question other than receive credit or no credit.
If I don't put in the tracking, for example, when I grade them, of course, I put graded. But I don't put anything in it. It's left credit, no credit.
No, the default is that it's graded, timed, and that the students get the answers. That's what's there now, if you don't touch anything.
Okay. Because in other program in Key, I put in credit, no credit.
No, you have the option of putting that in, but that is not what the default is. You your activities credit, no credit.
Okay. I graded or
that's what I'm telling you. There's a difference. If you're asking, you can make anything credit, no credit. That's what happens with the student's work. Actually, grading it is different. So asking me, will the computer grade it? It grade it, but the feedback or what will go in the grade book is credit or no credit.
Okay. Okay.
Now, piggybacking on that, I see we use my college use puntos de partida. I see that possibility of grading versus not grading. Where is that?
I will show you that. I will show you that as we move through.
¿Cómo se puede hacer para darle grados y no darle grados? Ah, pues no lo sé.
Make sure you have your phone on mute.
Esto lo explicaré la otra. ¿Sí?
Looking for a particular kind of activity, and I keep hitting all of the.
Número 6. Gramática y ejercicios.
As you move through, and I will show you this, I'll show you how you'll be able to tell the difference. When you do an activity, I'm random here. This activity. Computer, because we have it up this way right now, will grade the activity. What the right answer is. Phone on mute, folks.
¿Cómo se hace para que salga así?
You have your phone on mute. I can hear a couple of people talking. Thank you. Okay. So this is the type of feedback they might get for answering a particular question. The computer graded it. It took 2 out of 5, 40%, gave them the answer. Because we have it set up right now to give them the score, their feedback, and the answer. Okay? You're going down the road, how you have have control over what type of feedback they get and how it's graded. You have a grammar tutorial in your book, in your Centro site. The grammar is available to the students. Fun, creative will help the students practice or relearn a particular grammar point. Okay. These grammar activities are for if you are using Dos Mundos, Puntos, Vida, Soniviento, these are all the same. These are set up to be the 51 grammar topics that we needed the most help for students, and they're the same across the books.
Great. Universal.
And they're not going to go there. There are some quick checks for comprehension. They do not go into the grade book. They're there only for the students at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're in a panic before your exam tomorrow to make sure or to help them understand the concept.
Right. They get the answers, but nothing is forwarded to us.
Exactly. Nothing at all. It is literally a tutorial.
It's up to them if they do it or not.
Yeah. Up to them. I have some instructors simply to give themselves a 5-minute break in class or to allow the students to hear new input, a different voice, different pronunciation, will play the grammar tutorials in their classroom as a teaching tool for a point. So instead, ebook, workbook, grammar tutorials. For Dos Mundos, we have Los Amigos Animados. You have, this particular tab, or you don't in the other books you may be using. Videos. There's videos pretty much with any book that you're using within Centro, but the actual video obviously will depend on what book you're using. The student and special programs, it should, in pretty much most cases, open up right away. We sort of built the players into the system. Students obviously pause and control some of the, the video, the features. Many of our videos have captions. Students can turn the Spanish or English captions on or off.
I have a quick question. Yeah, with the image that the students see, is it possible to make that any larger?
On the player, and this one, no. This is pretty much the size is going to, we keep the resolution small, or the image small, so we can keep the resolution high, and so it doesn't become too big of a file or play slowly.
Okay.
Then up the resolution a little more. In this one, no, not in the Yabla videos, but you lose resolution.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And if you are using one of the videos and make a tool in class, we have in many of the videos, we have them available on DVD, and you can play it off of that so that you could project it big on a screen in your classroom. Center is the free, no password needed website that has always come with all of our books, and we are simply loading the link here for easy access for the students to get additional practice, information, and links to that particular title. So many of you are already familiar of the Online Learning Center. This is a website that we've had for years and years and years that comes with the particular books. For also have a resources tab, and then verb charts, and dictionary. Are a student resource to help them when maybe they don't have their book with them and simply need to review how to conjugate a particular verb, or and have some instructors that will access this in class so that they're not writing huge verb charts on the board. Totally fit and reasonable, and a good use of the site for in your class. Students, what would they see? The My Tools here, be able to see all assignments, their announcements, and the video board. Now, in my course that I have set up here, this is a demo course, so not everything is loaded, but I've assigned them all of the activities, the workbook, and they have a lot of work to do. Professor asked before, where would they see what's due? They go to My Tools and assignment list. Also, and it's taking a sec. This calendar here, they can click on any particular day of the week and be able to see. I set any due dates, so that's why this is blank right now. But if you clicked on any one particular day had an assignment due, they'd be able to see what's due that day.
Okay.
May I ask you a question?
You bet.
Regarding workbook and lab manual, you've assigned all the exercises. How do you deal with those that are only instructors graded or instructor corrected?
I'll show you how you will be able to differentiate between that. The students won't see which which ones the computer's grading and which one you are grading from here. They wouldn't be able to see that. But there's a and you will either tell them or they will quickly determine the computer grades all the discrete answers, the true, false, the multiple choice, the fill in the blank, and you will be grading all the writing assignments. You will not be able to look.
Do you, excuse me,
What?
do you do it online or do you have them download, print, and hand them out to you?
Most different instructors do it different ways. I'll tell you what some of the ways are that they do it, and I'll show you in a few minutes how that looks. But I have instructors that do have their students print the grading exercises and hand them in. I have instructors that grade them completely online. And I have instructors that just don't assign any of the writing activities at all. So, that is something you are going to have to determine for yourself on how you want to handle it. Most people, if they're a first-time user, set the bar a little low, so that you can get used to the program and start learning what works particularly for you and your comfort level. And in that case, I recommend that you assign only a few of the writing activities so you sort of develop a rhythm in a way that is comfortable for you, and then you determine there whether you want to assign more of them and grade more of them online. The hope is that we're all online because it's less paperwork for you and because it saves trees. So,
can you show us how to do that?
Yeah, do it online.
Okay, we can see work, your corrections?
Yes. They'll be able to see your comments for the individual questions that they got right or wrong, depending on what you wrote.
Thank you.
No problem. So here they see all of these are assigned because they all have a nice A here. I told my students that they had 3 attempts to do any particular activity, so it shows them how many attempts are remaining. And my class has not started yet, so they have not completed any of their work. I have some work to do. Yes.
If you don't assign an activity, will they see it on that list that you see there? And can they work on it without you assigning it?
Yes, they see it. They'll be able to complete it, but it will not flow into the grade book.
Okay.
What they would see, if you're seeing my cursor circling the say, they'll see a red circle with a line through it that tells them it's here, but it's not assigned.
But they can add the activity if they wish.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Practice. For the students here, there is a help button under the My Tools to get tech support help. Again, may have the same issues as you. Their computer may lock up. They may be suddenly that they might be in the wrong class. They, whatever reasons, they have their help buttons as well. One thing on this page before I go to the instructor side, if you see the supplement here at the bottom, this is where you are going to have, or where your students will be able to access any of the supplement activities that you personally created, customized for them. So if you want to add an activity to this website of your own doing, and I'll show you where you do that, this is where they would access that activity. They would not. We're not at the place yet where you can load an activity into one of the chapters. So if you want to add a quiz, for instance, it goes here under supplement. You would have to title it Quiz Chapter 2 or Quiz Chapter 3. You would see anything that you customize and add. Okay, that is the student side. Do you have any questions?
Well, under Tools, I did my calendar, but where is the input? Because I clicked and it said nothing put there. How would I go?
I haven't shown you that yet. This is only the student side. Students would see. So they're not going to see any features that you will have.
May I ask you about the supplement? Can you upload exercise that you have already scanned? That you have on your desktop or on your document?
if you want the computer to grade it. You would have to create the quiz, homework, etc. within the system so that the computer knows question, the correct answers, and then there's a variety of grading options. So you would have to basically recreate it within the system. It's pretty easy, and I'll show you very briefly how, but you'll do it again in order for it to grade it. You can load Word documents and have your students do it that way, but obviously the computer can't grade it off a Word doc.
I see. Okay, thank you.
No problem. So now and show what the instructor side looks like and where you get to do all your fun stuff. For the sake of simplicity, I'm not going to close this web browser, so I'm going to leave the student side open. Now back to the instructor side. So to access the instructor side, I'm going to go into my first class here, Class 1, which you all know is a section. And this is the home page now as an instructor for Class 1. What we do is this is the dashboard and one-stop shopping for a snapshot of everything that's going on in your course. You have the course. We have our code, again, a place where you can remind your students how they're going to access your course. Here's your printable registration instructions. I have my profile here if I want to change my username or password, my FAQs. You can give central feedback. You have your tech support. And I can already open that page, but here's where I'd click if I wanted to go to the student side.
Well, wait,
if I wanted to see
how
what
do we get
something's
to
going
the
to look like.
instructor side? I'm clicking the class with the set.
You shouldn't be clicking anything. You should be watching me.
Yeah. I don't have that. Somehow it didn't happen here.
You want to make it in the WebEx presentation so you can see what I'm talking about, but I'll go back to my Centro site. That's my workstation. And if you're not looking at WebEx, then you have no idea what I'm talking about anyway.
I see the workstation. I do see my workstation, but
you shouldn't be clicking on anything. You should be watching and doing.
Well, I'd have to click. I've never had anything automatic.
So then you can place. It should be a WebEx. If you want to send an email to Alexa, she'll show you how to access that because you're definitely missing out on a lot of the things that I am showing. So to access the instructor side, you click into your class in your list of my classes. I'm not going to click there because I already have that page open. Right. Sorry, I did close it. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, dashboard. Some of the things. Now, these are your tabs. The student does not see this page. This is yours. Your dashboard, you have your list of classes, and I'll show you what each of these are. You have books, files, announcements, chat, and options. Now, really neat new features of Key and Centro that instructors really like. The My Tools section, this is greatest hits. These are things we know you may be accessing more than once, and so we give you a very direct route to get to them. You can activities, create a new quiz, create a voice recording activity, or go right to your instructor resources. So other ways to get to these features, these are just the ones we know are most popular. Under alerts, let me click that in there. Under My Alerts, this is your to-do list. Key is going to manage and organize your course. A very quick view of the things that we think you might need to do in the coming days. When this button clicked, it tells me every activity that I need to grade personally, that the computer cannot grade. So now, we'll eliminate these other alerts so I could just see what is it that I need to grade right now because my students just recently did some work. It takes a second to load. It's cranking through all of my work. So I have 10 students that submit an activity for activity 2.82. I scroll off and see their names. Those are the 10 students. When they submitted their work, when the last one was turned in, and roll my cursor across the actual activity number, and I can go into, and I won't be doing it now, but I'll show you in a minute, I can go in and I could actually view the activity. activity, give it a quick 100%. I just want all my students who did the work to get credit. Now I can go to my grade book. So if you ever want to know, what is it that I need to do? Where am I right now? What do I need to grade? You can click on the My Alert, what do I need to grade, and it will pull up everything that you need to grade. You submitted recently grading a couple of days ago, but now you want to see what's been turned in lately? What have my students been doing? Maybe I want to get a quick look before the class starts. I'm giving a quiz today. I'm curious to see what work my students have done. What was submitted late? I can do an alert and tell the computer, I'd like to know who submitted things late, because I have some students outside my office who are complaining they're not getting their grade, grade book. And I could look here and I could see, well, it's funny. Now, none of my students have submitted something, but I could get a list here of what activities were turned in past the deadline. And you can see who received the low score. This is very important, and it's something I think is underused. It's very difficult. I was a teacher to know what my students do and do not know before I give them a quiz. Well, I can know what my students are doing, see who's struggling, and see who needs help before I give that quiz or that exam. The other thing I like about it, too, is it's quite possible that I did not teach or review a particular grammar topic very well in my course, and this is going to give me a good, nice view. Perhaps before the exam, something I need to review, because it turns out that my students are all struggling with the indirect object pronouns, and I want to remediate that before I give the exam to help them learn that particular grammar topic. So, not all the information you have available, but these are the things we think you might want to know about on a daily or weekly basis. Now, I, again, haven't assigned any due dates in the next week, so this is empty, but this would be full of a list of all the activities that are due on that particular day according to how I set up my course. That's how it is. Now, I'm going to classes, the next tab. Yeah. And this is, I'm in grade right now. You can see that by this white dot here. I can see in grade book, and I can see the grade book for this particular class, or switch to one of the classes. Entire grade book right now, but I could go into grade book for a particular section of the grade book. I'm looking at my students right now, but I can go to any individual student. I have how all of my students are doing right now. And then, of course, the actual grade book. What is loaded without you doing anything are the textbook, if you have an e-book activities, or the workbook and lab manual. So the giving you where there are activities already loaded. Oral presentation, class participation, destinos, and quiz, all of those columns I added. You could add in a column at any point in the semester to help for the other work that you have in your class. So you could delete the gradebook section very easily by just clicking on the X. I'm going to do that now. Obviously, I don't want to ruin my gradebook. And within that grade book, you can click on student, you can click on their textbook work, their quaderno work, their oral presentation, all of these live and clickable so you can drill down into that particular section of the grade book. In the module section here in the grade book, you get how you grade. You could change the weights if you want to change how much the workbook is worth versus exams. You get book section, that column here.
I have a
yes.
Yes, part to the workbook. I'm going to go ahead and use a separate system. So with this, I just am going to them to do the assignment if they've done it, and I'll give them credit for having done it. gradebook, is that something that we need to set up for the system to work right?
What's going to happen is first day of class, let's assume that every one of your students went to the bookstore and bought the book and had that book key in their hands.
Yes.
When they go on to Centro and sign up for your course, they're going to load their own name into your gradebook. So you don't have to type in anybody's names into the book or the roster. That roster list of students is going to be built by the students themselves when they sign up to your course in Centro. So you don't actually have to do anything in terms of adding names or their personal information. They will do that when they register for your course. And what I mean by register for your course is that they go into Centro, they access the site, they put in their book key, and they tell the computer that I am registering for Professor Smith's Spanish 101 course. Okay, so they'll do that.
One question real quick.
Yeah.
Let's say that you want to delete the writing exercises.
I'll show you how to do that. I haven't shown you how to do that yet. We're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the grade book, how it looks. And again, you drill into any particular course section of the grade book. Your roster is here, classes, roster. And again, I'm looking at 1. Here are all my students. Here's one address if you'd like to send them an email. Your students may accidentally sign up for the wrong section, or they may transfer from your Monday, Friday class to your Tuesday, Thursday class. You can move them yourself by just literally changing the course right here. Drop them. Don't them if you are unsure about their future attendance, because once you drop them, they are gone and they're gone forever, and their work cannot be retrieved. You want to provide a little lag time there before you drop them. You also, from this page, set up a new class. Here are registration instructions again. If you need a printer for any reason, you can do it here. You can email to the whole class as well. If you make any changes here, don't forget to hit update at the bottom of the screen so that it's actually saving those changes. Okay, now big thing here, classes and assign. You're going to assign your work. Now, when you sign into Centro and you load your book, everything is automatically assigned. Everything. You're not actually going to do any assigning. What you're really doing is unassign some work, because we've loaded all of the book activities, all of the workbook, and all of the lab manual. As you start creating your course, think of it as unassigning. You don't really have to add anything. It's already there. So we are in classes and assign, and I'm in class 1. And I'm working within just the book activities. You can always switch to the workbook and lab manual. Chapter 1, all of the activities in the book for Chapter 1. I could go to any particular section within the book. And remember, this is a demo course. You only see Chapter 1 and Chapter 8. Yours would obviously have all the chapters.
Quick question. With regard to the grade book, are we able to take off things that we're not going to be accounting? I'm just going to use the online workbook, and I want the participation or the other things.
Yeah, this is my demo course. I added those in. You can see those when you go into your course for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah. Most teach more than one section, more than one class. If I'm in classes, and I'm in class 1, if I make any changes here, it's only going to affect that one class. If I affect all my classes, say I teach 3 sections of Spanish 101, do not want the classes assigned area. Click on Books And when you work in the book section, you have global changes to all sections that you have within that course. I'm going to say that again. This is an important thing. It's going to save you a lot of time. If you look in the classes, you'll be actually making changes to individual sections. In books, you'll be making changes to all of your sections that you have within that course. Does everybody understand that difference?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Does a help manual come with this course, Centro?
Yes. And while we're there and while you ask that question, no matter where I am in this website, whether I'm dashboard, the classes, the books, the files, you will always see a help button over here. The help button will always take you to help specific area that you're working in. Books, assign area. So when I click help, it takes right to help for assign. So you don't have to go searching for what you need help for. Okay, now the big thing that we all want to know, and we're going to get this before, how do I unassign activities? Okay. This is the list of activities that I have loaded right now for the textbook, for those, Chapter 1. Here are all the activities. Now, if I green dot, it means the computer is going to grade that activity. You always have this key at the bottom of the screen. You always have this hint. The green dot means that review is not needed. The computer will grade that activity. The yellow dot next to the activity means that we recommend you take a peek and make sure you're happy with how the computer graded the activity. It may fill in the blank question or a very short answer, but there is a possibility. We recognize that there may be more than one correct answer, and depending on how you teach your course and what sort of tolerance you want to give your students, we're telling you, you know what, take a look and make sure you're happy with how we marked it right or wrong. You know, a question such as, you know, what color is the sky? There could be multiple answers for that. So we bring questions like that, but sometimes we have them in there, and we're telling you, heads up, take a look and make sure that you're happy with how we graded it. You could go in and literally change the grade and say yes, no, more point or less point. Red dots here, these red dots mean that you need to grade the activity. The computer cannot do it. It's a writing exercise. Dos Mundos. And as you all know, Dos Mundos is a highly communicative text and does not hide within the book a lot of discrete and short answer questions. So that's why you're seeing a lot of red dots here. In other books where we do give more in-book multiple choice true false matching, you will see green dots. So say that I want to get rid of all of those red dots. What you do is to select each one of them. One way, I could also click that button and get them all and just unselect the couple of green dots. I get and assign. And those activities are unassigned. The students see them, they can see them, but they will not book. So that will determine what is assigned and not assigned in your course. For the due date, you can usually change any due date. Or you can ask the same way we did on this side. Maybe I want these 3 activities to all on the same day. I could click them, set due date, and all due on August 31st, Craig's birthday. Those 3 activities are all due on August 31st. Does see how you would manipulate this so that you can unassign or assign and set due dates for your activities?
Yes.
Okay. How you?
Yeah. You just clicked on the A, right? That's all you did.
You can also, if you want to do just one real quick, so everybody can hear this A is assigned right now, I could also just click on and assign it.
Okay. May I mention about the due date?
Yes.
When you put a due date, is that by midnight of that day?
It's midnight for where you live. We're not at the point yet where we can give it a specific time. For any activity, you do want to hold them to a specific time. The best that I could recommend that you do now is you can show you where for the feedback, you can, the computer can like timestamp when they did their work, when they submitted it. And simply tell your students, I am not going to accept any work done after a specific hour.
Okay.
Proactively monitor that yourself, though the computer couldn't kick them out. And just so you know, while on that topic, the computer can
left, right?
For those of you, some of you may be on, to put your phone back on mute. Make sure your phone's on mute. Computer can timestamp when a student submits the activity, and please put your phone on mute, folks. The computer can timestamp the activity. It can also monitor how long it takes the student to do the activity, but it cannot time them out. You can't give them a limit. You only have 20 minutes or so to do this activity. It doesn't have like a countdown clock. We don't have that yet.
Exactly, but the date, they'll not be able to access the exercise after that certain date.
No, access it, but it will not go in the grade book until you override it and say, that's okay, that person was in the hospital.
The students will not be able to do the exercise after the due date.
No. They'll always be able to do it, but it will not go in the grade book.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so until you tell the computer, that's okay, I accept that assignment.
I'll change the date, in other words.
No, you actually don't even need to change the day. It will be listed as a late activity, and you will just go in and say accept. It's so, I'm overriding you on this one.
Thank you.
Now, still exactly along these lines, I always have the custom of assigning homework and writing it very clearly on the board, and so they are very aware. Do I also? I'd rather not do double work. Do I need to do due date as well if it's on the blackboard and it's very clear to the student? What happens if I don't adjust the due date?
That is, you will have, this is that there is no due date. So nothing will happen. The won't automatically give it the end of the month or the end of the week. So if you left everything blank, assigned, but no due date, and you wrote up on the board, these particular activities are due September 5th, then the students should do them by September 5th. There won't be a due date at all within the computer.
Well, then do I blank it out?
Start blanked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The default is that there is no due date until you give it a due date.
All right, because he's doing this as a demo.
Yeah, exactly.
Craig,
yes.
The due date, does it automatically go into the grade book?
The computer graded activity, yes.
Okay.
Computer graded activity, obviously it needs to wait to grade it before the work flows into the grade book.
Right. So if you leave it behind.
I kept saying come in, but he apparently didn't hear me.
Hold on. I remind you again, folks, there's somebody on a speakerphone that is not on mute. Please put your phone on mute. Thank you.
Can some assignments not be graded, even though they're supposed to be corrected? Or graded?
What would be not graded? I want them explain what you want.
Well, I wanted participation, and I didn't want to really grade the participation workbook per se. I wanted it to be done.
Yeah, you for that particular activity or those activities is just make those credit, no credit.
Thank you.
Any of these changes here, you could always, obviously, we can always customize according to that particular activity. Obviously, you can have assigned or unassigned, there's separate due dates, and then the type of feedback the students get. Right? You obviously how to make the big changes because that's what you're most likely to be doing at the start of class. So the grading, we're a couple minutes from technically the end of this. I'll go beyond the time, but I want to be respectful of your time. But for books and options, this is set up some of the grading style and the feedback. Here is where, and again, I'm in books, so this is a global change. This is something I do for my whole course. I could tell the computer credit for everything. I could timed and graded for my activities, or I just say graded. Keep it, do timed and graded, or excuse me, if you do graded and half the semester you want to start doing timed and graded, that it's not going to retroactively go back and tell you how long the students took on an activity that they did in Chapter 1. It only records the time if you set it up to tell the time, from that moment. You could tell it's grading activities, whether to match accent marks or don't work accent marks for right or wrong answers. Feedback. For all the work they do not give my students any feedback. Nothing. You could just tell them how well they did in terms of their score. They got 6 of 10, 7 of 10, 4 of 5. You could do score summary, which would be you got 8 out of 10 correct, and these are the 2 questions you were wrong. Or you do score, summary, and answers. But I want to give my students the score. I want them to know which questions they got wrong, and I want them to have the answers. Obviously, that when you give the students the answers and you tell them that they have 3 attempts to do it, they're probably going to write down the answers, copy them down, and get 100% on their next attempt. So you determine what feedback you'd like for them to have and how many options, how many attempts you're going to give them. And I'll show you how to set up the attempts in just one moment. It's 1 right now. We have a few more tabs over for anybody that wants to keep going. But if you have to leave, thank you very much for joining us. We have additional webinars for the rest of this week. If you want to jump on again, we have the advanced training if you'd like to do that. Please do not hesitate to use the help and the tech support, obviously, with Kia if you have any specific questions. Thank you very much for joining us, for using Centro, and for using Hill textbooks. So if anyone wants to or needs to jump off now, feel free. Feelings not hurt. And we'll continue on with the last couple of tabs and then answer any questions that you might have left outstanding.
Oh, okay, good. Because have you finished everything, Craig?
Okay. I will keep going now, and then anybody that's dropping off, have a wonderful day.
Can you ask questions afterwards? Because I didn't get on with your automatic until after you finished how we could check the submission. And I'm really interested in that. So could I hang on and at the end?
You bet.
Thanks.
Yes, no problem. So again,
I have one question with the grading style. What is the default for those?
The default is time graded.
Time, and then what about the accents?
Might match the accent.
Okay.
The whole thing, the whole shebang, score, summary, and answers.
And okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And, I think 1 attempt. So these are things work hand in hand, feedback and number of attempts. If you give them multiple attempts, I suggest myself not give them the answers until they're done. So and how to set that up.
Okay.
Now, so we're going to, there's 2 files. These are your files. Think about this. This is your website. Now that you've signed up, this is yours. This is where you will load your own PowerPoints, your own Word docs, your own pictures, etc. So I did some of my own things here. This is all the information that I've loaded. want to upload a file, you can see how much space we're allowed. It's really a lot, so go ahead and load what you need. Use folders so that you can organize these the way you'd like them.
Okay.
Resources. This is what we are giving you. These are the McGraw Hill resources for your particular book, and what's replacing the big giant instructor's manual that you've grown used to. You don't plug those around anymore. You have your instructor's manual here, the kit, testing program, audio script, digital transparencies, image bank, cultural PowerPoints. A lot of instructors either download the pictures in the bank or they project them right from here in their class. If they want a picture of Venezuela in their class, or they want to for a vocabulary activity in class. So you can do it right from here. These don't change. These are ours that we're giving you to download or to use in your class. This is to leave announcements for your course. It may be your syllabus. It may be class information. This is like a whiteboard. It's static. You type on this, the students don't get an email that says instructor added something. They go there proactively and read here. You can put links to your website. You can put links to YouTube. You've got a variety of different things you can use. And again, it didn't go anywhere or change. If I want to add something, I read it in the top and add it here. The thing you want to do is save changes at the bottom of the screen, or else you'll keep typing it and wondering where it's going. It's probably not being saved because you didn't save changes. For the here, this is, and this would be one of those advanced things. If you're a first-time user, this might be what you do next semester or next year. But you have voice board capabilities. You could leave messages for your students, or two students could go in and chat asynchronously online, record the activity, and submit it for you. This is where you go ahead and do that. And again, this is one of those higher level things I'm not into too much right now. This is sort of a intermediate Centro feature. But you do have that ability if you're familiar with WIMBA. It's designed by WIMBA. They've integrated it with Centro and Kia, so you'll be familiar with how it works.
Okay.
Options. This is a thing I want to show. This is where you have the big global changes to your whole Centro environment. You can edit your course here. Change the name of the school. You've had a typo in the course name, etc. The dates. Change it here. Grading options. This is going to be your most important button. We're going to. You're going to set up the attempts that you're going to give your students. So how many times do you want the students to be able to access and do a particular activity?
3 times.
You can calculate the CUME score based on the student's first attempt. That's it. One shot. It's their first one. You just click, and that's what happens to all the activities. You calculate based on their most recent attempt. I don't care how many times they do it. The score that's going in the gradebook is their last one. That may be lower than their first one, but that's the one I want counted, their last attempt. Or we based on their best attempt. Times they do it, but I want the computer to grab the score that's the highest. Wondering at the end of the exercise, the students, it gives them submit for getting, they get it. Want to save this, or do you want to try again? When they hit yes, I'm good with this one, and it's 9 out of 10, that's the one going into the gradebook, and they're done.
Is this just for homework or quizzes, whatever?
This is for you, the sign that the computer is you have here within the system.
I mean, they can quizzes if we should give an online quiz multiple times?
Yes.
Okay.
If you personally, as a former instructor, I don't recommend doing any high-stakes testing or quizzing online simply because, obviously, it's a security issue in terms of who's actually doing the work. It's just my own personal preference. obviously if you teach online hybrid course,
I agree with you.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do because obviously you don't have them in your class. So that is a personal choice for you. One thing you can do, and this is a new feature a lot of instructors love, is if you're going to do the best attempt, you can this button here, ignore student results after, tell the computer, look, I'm going to give them 5 chances. I'm going to limit how long they can go. If you're going to give them multiple attempts, and you want them to know eventually what the right answer is, because that's the important part of the feedback. If you give them multiple attempts and you do eventually want them to have the answer, then click this button. So always show feedback as score, summary, and answers after the final attempt, so that at the end of this process they do know what the right answer is. Okay. Quick thing is you will see this button in your grade book. We instructors need a quick, fast way to give the student a credit, no credit, or a score. Maybe it's late in the semester and you're busy. Maybe you've fallen behind a little bit. And you know what? I just want to give them credit for trying. You click this little pencil with 100% on it, and it will either give the full credit for everything they've answered, the student credit for doing anything at all. It's just a quick way to power through maybe doing some of the grading if you've fallen behind or you've determined a particular activity. You know what, in this one all I wanted to do is I just wanted them to try. So you don't use this feature, but it's there if you want it. Grading confirmation is just whether or not you want us to double check before you hit the button on whether you really do want to do what it is you want to do. This page, make sure you save changes or nothing will get saved. Okay, so does everybody understand how the multiple attempts what decisions you need to make?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay. We'll show you. I'm going to go back into the list of activities just so you can see within let's go. I know what I wanted to do. I'll go into the grade book and show you the weights. Remember how I've added oral presentation, class presentation, Vecinos, and quiz. I've added those columns in my grade book. Make sure with the column that you go into the weighting and that you have the weighting for the course. Because if you leave zero, which is where it will go, if you put it in, it'll start. It won't actually affect the grade because you haven't adjusted the weighting. Everything needs to add up to 100. Okay. Go back into assign. Oh, sorry, I did the wrong one. I want to go here. Oh, that's where I wanted to be. Sorry about that. In the book, I'm in book and customize. So this is customized. I said the default is that it's time rated and that it's score, summary, and answer for the feedback. You may want to change that for any one of these particular activities. I can do it right here. I've made this one credit. That's all I want for this activity. And I actually just want to give them the score. Book's done. And I can do any of the activities. I could also go into the grading options and just change those grading options for just that one. I promise to show you how to create your own activities. Books, comments, you click options to create your own activities. Go to supplement. So I'm going to click on supplement. And I'll create Kia Centro. They call any discrete answer activity a quiz. But like I said before, I wouldn't actually do real quizzes. Do a little 10-question multiple choice activity. I'm going to create and hit go. Description, do this. Give it 10 questions. I want multiple choice, but I may want a true false pop up. multiple correct. I'm going to add. And now bring up the question and put the answers. Click on a particular button for the correct answer. I could also customize answer choices, so not everybody has different versions. It's all set up for me to do 10. I'm not going to do 10 now. But I wanted to do 100, because you'll notice this list only goes to 20. I just would add 20 at a time. Now, when I add quiz or activity, I could question order. I could display the numbers and the point values. I could, I want this to be, it's obviously going to be using Spanish. In case they're using special keyboard. I want to match exactly, grading to be case sensitive, and I do not want to ignore the punctuation. My own preference, and then preview. The quiz or activity that I set up. And then you could go back and fix it and make it wonderful. And after you would just hit done.
This, the students would find under the supplement tab.
Exactly.
And then find the files that if we were to upload a file of something. Under the supplement tab?
They would find that question somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, and I came up with the answer, and now I forgot it. You would. This is how. If you had a file, say you had your pictures from your vacation to Argentina, you would actually it would be under announcements.
Okay.
And there's a couple use it. It depends. If it's a link to a website, it would show up as a useful link. If you could also, like what I've done here, here's the link to the. It's basically a link to either a website or a file within the hard drive in the background. So I would click on, say you loaded this worksheet 1, I'd click on that, and it would take me to the file.
Okay.
Now,
Those
so
are
under supplements. I can also find, because I've used Kia.
Yes.
You know, and so those games, Hangman, and the Battleship.
Yeah.
I get that under supplements too.
Yes. Let me go back to that page. Let me close. Let me go back. Here's supplement, book, customize, supplement, and when I did quiz, but I could do Battleship. There's your.
Oh, customize and then supplement?
Yes. So let's find my dashboard. And you said, Craig, create an activity. I go, it's a customized page already. The default already. And then create a Hangman game.
Okay.
And it's working.
Yeah, no, I had on our online learning center, there were unit tests for the book I was reading. Could I sort of download pre-fabricated unit tests and then use parts of them or something like that?
I will ask you to instruct everybody that's still on the phone. Where would I go? You tell me, where would I go to access the McGraw Hill provided text?
Announcements or options? I can't remember which one of the.
Want to jump in and?
Well, instructors resources.
Which would be under what tab?
Classes. Options.
Dashboard.
It's one of them.
It would be here under files.
Files, okay.
Yeah. Remember, think about it. It really is. Where would you put your test bank? In your files. So what now, is it my files or resources?
Resources.
Because that's all provided.
All right.
And then I would go here to the testing program.
Okay, all right. Perfect.
Excuse me?
Yes.
This is Deborah. I have to leave. I want to thank you so much. This has been very helpful. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Deborah. Again, like I said, if you have any other questions, we have the other webinars coming up, or you can give Tia a call.
Okay. And happy birthday on the 31st. Bye-bye.
Does anybody else have any additional questions?
Yes,
more.
I have
I
one
have
after her.
to leave soon, but I was somehow not on the right page when you clicked about how to see the work submitted by the students. I don't know that.
Okay, no problem. So let's say that I want to see for just one of my sections. Go to classes. Work that my students did in my class 2. So I'd go classes, grade book, class 2. I'm going to hit go. And Marcus Diaz is outside of my office during office hours, and I want to look particularly at his work. In my course, in general, I may want to know how he's doing in his workbook and lab manual. Drill down basically all the way into any of the work he's done. That's how you would do it. In this case, he's done some work in Chapter 1. I can click on Chapter 1.
Can they work? We talked about this earlier. Can they print it?
Yeah, wanted to. Oh, I know. I promised for those of you that hung in there with me, let's go to the grade book. Oh, good.
Book and the lab manual were kind of two separate things. Is the lab manual and workbook all combined in one under Centro?
It depends on the book. It mirrors exactly what you have in print. So if you have them separate in the print, when it wasn't a custom version, but if they were separate in the print, then it'll be separate on the website. If they're the same, they'll be the same.
Okay, and also, is the Online Learning Center, is that the same thing as the super site from Key? Is that the same idea or no?
The super site is specific. That branding is a Vista.
Okay.
I would not want to say that it's the same, but say ours is better.
Right.
But yeah. And by the way, available to any student with a password. They don't have to buy a brand new book to get it.
Okay.
But yes, in general, the equivalent, it is the generic website for the book. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Can I just, if the students buy the book and the workbook, they automatically access to Centro, or do they have to make a choice?
You have made the choice depending, obviously, on what you and your bookstore ordered. Every student in the world has access to the Online Learning Center with password or cost or anything. Everybody's got that. The people that have access to Centro are the students that are in a class where the instructor has ordered as part of the package.
I see.
But it's not a default or automatic. So, and you wouldn't, obviously, because I wouldn't want you to do it, you wouldn't have your students buying access to Centro and buying the printed workbook and lab manual. You'd be doubling up.
I see. Okay.
So one of the things that I promised everybody is I'd show you what it looked like to grade a writing exercise. So I just clicked into, let me go back one so that you can see. I was in the grade book. I clicked on one of the red activities that requires grading. And I clicked on the pencil. And here is the activity. And I've already sort of done this already, so you'll see that's why there's points. So 1 point required Vietnamita. Oh, I was thinking the words. My bad. And he answered, Lan hablas bien panamita. Yes, it's correct. I gave him 1 point. I could switch that to 0. Or maybe I could also, let me go back here. Give it 1 point. I could write a comment. Done. Marcus. Don't forget the accent mark. You cannot at this point annotate the answer. That's kind of have iPads and with the ability to write on the screen. So hopefully that'll come sometime in the next couple of years. But for right now, you basically are making comments.
Yeah. I just have one question before I need to go. I need to set up a category for the online workbook that I'm going to be using in the grade book. How do you set that category up?
I would go. Okay. So when you have your grade book set up this time, remember you don't see any of these colors here. I added these. All you would see is textbook and cuaderno if you were using Dos Mundos. What you can do is, first of all, you would need to unassign all of the textbook activities. Get rid of those. They won't disappear, but they will move into the grade book. So what you'll have left is these cuaderno column.
Oh my God.
So you just unassign everything that you don't want to go in the grade book. And again, do that by going, so if you have multiple sections, it's done all at once. Assign. Go into the book. I'm going to learn something here. This is a demo course, I believe. I'm not sure because we don't have it all loaded here. There is an actual, like, I know the answer to this, whether you can do it by chapter or whether there's an actual all everything button, the whole book. You would select that.
What you're going to do is just to add Cuaderno de Práctica in the workbook itself, in the grade book as a category.
That's what I'm saying. Remember, you don't add anything. It's already there. What you'll be doing is taking the other stuff out. Because the default is it's already added.
Yeah, but I take the other stuff out.
That's what I'm showing you right now. Are you still in the WebEx?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So the books, I'd go to assign. I would go to the book as opposed to the cuaderno. Part I'm telling you, I don't actually, this is a demo course, so I can't show you here, but I believe there is a button you can push here. See how it says Chapter 1 All?
Yes.
That you can really do all, like all the chapters. I think there, but I can't show you it because I don't have that specific. But let's say it doesn't. Let's say you go into all Chapter 1, everything here. And they're all unassigned. They're out. All of the work activity is gone. It won't be in the grade book for you. Chapter 2, or in this case, I don't have it. I go to Chapter 8 and unassign everything in the chapter. Move it from the grade book.
But will people get feedback?
Yes.
Going to get a grade.
Well, yeah, they will get feedback, which will say that they got 8 of 10 or 7 out of 10 right, not go in the grade book.
Right. Okay. Now, as far as the printing, I don't know that you finished that one. Do they just click file, or how do they print out the work if I ask for it?
go into you want to here. I have a button like print, but not using it anymore. So I'm right-clicking and hitting print.
Okay.
And that's how they print that page. The Online Learning Center, because it's a school practice environment with no grade book, we still have the print button, but we've removed it here because most, nobody was using it anymore. But you just right-click on the screen and hit print. It'll print the page.
Is it, Craig, can you repeat that? Can you go back one step? Do click versus click here first?
That was your response.
Okay, so they have to click there first in order to print it before they.
Yeah,
correct?
because because here, remember this was a writing exercise.
Right.
So nothing is technically graded, and by the way, look here at grading method. It tells instructor only. So if I printed this page, this is literally all it would print.
So
it wouldn't show their actual
here.
work. Last question.
Okay, so they have to click here first. They have to.
Yeah.
Can you do that for me? I want to see it again.
So it opens up a new page.
Okay.
I got to start over. Sorry. Hold on.
Okay. Because answers.
Yeah. Do it
I
again.
put some answers there.
There we go.
The answers were not there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good example of they were there the first time I did it. So example of a little did I not try to.
Well, really did understand how they are to print the page. So
Yeah, but okay, if we just
the answers don't show. What good is that?
Discovered. So obviously, I proved it once. Now, why there's a little bug in here now? One of those. I'm going to call
there.
you and say, "What the heck?"
But we could go
What is
help.
that? It's printed without answers.
Oh, I just showed it a minute ago for
Yeah,
something
we're
that
there
wasn't
before.
taking it. Yeah, it was there before.
Yeah.
Let's go into a different one just to prove it.
But we
No,
could
I really-
always go to the help center.
This is different.
That's what I know, that we have a resource.
Yeah. And not doing it right now. Why not? Oh, in this case, it was right here. Here's my response.
Mm-hmm.
Hit print. I'm bringing up that menu and doing print.
Thank you, Greg. Probably I will log in into your next session. Bye-bye.
You got.
thank you so much.
No problem. Anybody else have any questions?
I do, Craig. This is, I've been using Pasajes.
Okay.
And my sister,
Let me go. I'm going to. This is Patricia. Thanks, Craig. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, Pasajes.
Okay, pasajes. Are you familiar with it at all?
Yeah, in fact, just so that we can, let me,
Question, something. I missed the first 10 minutes where I was supposed to create a class or something like that. I think I was supposed to put in my password and the code and things. I missed that part at the beginning. Can I
You really have to, if you were watching my screen the whole time, you were right on where we needed to be. I spoke about how to do it, but you weren't actually creating a course or anything like that.
So I already have a course created?
I don't know that. You may not, depending on where you are in the process. You would need to have done it already, or your rep may have done it for you.
Okay, I'll call my rep.
No problem.
Okay.
Here's Pasaje here in my course.
Okay, right. And here's my question where I could use some help. A unique group of people. They're adult learners, been studying Spanish for years. They've gotten to this level. They're not in the course for a grade. I grade book at all. How different is CENTRO from the Online Learning Center for Students?
I'll show you both. Let me just.
Seen this online at all?
Yeah, let me into. So show you from this point of view.
The hard copy of the workbook with CENTRO, I think it would be a lot less money.
It depends. It depends on what you're accessing. So these are the things that you would be only from the student point of view, not worried about saving you time or effort. We'll put that aside. So only from the student's point of view. They will not get immediate back, right? You have to wait for you to grade it.
Are you talking about the online?
Yeah. If they only, so these are the things that have value to a student.
Well, they do the online activities and get instant feedback on
our practice, but not on the actual workbook.
Okay.
Right. So, because that's for
okay,
their grade.
That's good. I need to take that down. There's no feedback.
They have to wait for you to grade it. So, depending on
a book online.
A day. Again, it's all about.
It's on there permanently that they can access the answers.
Not book and lab manual, right?
And so, but there was.
Them, I don't. Is it? I don't know. I'd have to check. I don't work. I'm going to go into the Online Learning Center. Student edition. Let me see.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So,
purchase it, or it's in the back. The workbook.
Oh, of the version. I'm sorry. You're saying it's available online, not online. What I'm telling you is when you're asking about the difference in the value, for the workbook and lab manual, right, it's not immediate feedback. Is there feedback? Yes. You're eventually going to grade the work, or they're going to look in the answer key.
No, independently. They need feedback either from the back of the book or online.
If they're just working in the paper version, be getting a computer, right, telling them you got it wrong, and here's where.
Right.
They got to do that on their own. So I'm not telling you one way is different.
No, I just am trying to figure out which is better for them because they're.
The second thing would be, besides immediate feedback, which I think is very important, the activity pack. Let me on that one. I want to be able here?
No.
Is that open window? No. I don't remember if the activity pack is, the demo is. Let me see if this whole one is. Okay, they have the activity pack there. Good. Okay. It's the same. Grammar tutorials. So now I don't even get to visit these.
Right.
centers.
I just need to know that
Yeah.
I'm really spending their money wisely.
Yeah. So activity, the grammar tutorials is one thing that isn't here. Surprising, it probably will be soon. With you. And I would look at the actual cost because, and it depends on the school. Remember, we can't control what the bookstore does.
Mm-hmm.
Centro should cost same as the or less as the printed version.
Okay, all that. Mm-hmm.
So if they're the same, then it's a fair fight. You know what I mean? It's then it's value to the student. One they appreciate, and hey, I deal with instructors that have even it might be an actual adult ed program. All returning students, 19-year-olds, and for a particular course.
If the students who wanted a grade, I wouldn't hesitate to use the electronic, the e-version. But verbal is what we do, and they're using Gradebook with this particular group.
Yeah.
So that's a situation. But there are many more activities. There are quizzes that are not on the site. That's the
right.
Student Learning Center. That's what I want to be sure of. How much more is there on Centro?
Yeah, I mean it's automatically loaded in there. Really is the same as what they'd get in the workbook and lab manual. If they're buying if it comes down to the workbook and lab manual, and I'm a technology. I mean, I work with professors all the time on this, and I work with how to incorporate all of our materials in the classroom. I don't drink the Kool-Aid, and I don't think there's a one answer for everybody.
You're so right. That is true.
Yeah, and
but
so for me, part of it is my comfort level. I want to be using the technology, and I want student behavior to use the technology, especially if they're a returning student, because I would, one of my missions, I meet students and professors all over the country. I meet two people who are not comfortable using the computer, and you can't live in the 21st century without the computer being a part of your life.
Right.
If I have to bring them kicking and screaming into an online environment, I'm going to, because I think it's important. Just somebody working and living in the world today. So,
right, or you get left behind.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really
so I have instructors all the time that say I have students that don't have an email address. That's unforgivable in my world.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to summarize this, what I think I'm getting out of this, and then we can both say hasta luego to each other. But what I'm getting out of it is that the cost is the same, the e-workbook or the hard copy, and the students will get many more opportunities to prove themselves with Centro than they would with just Online Learning Center.
Yeah, think about the learning process of having multiple attempts and being able to figure it out. I think there's more engagement in the activity than if you're writing it down on a piece of one time.
I have to go over all that because, as you know, the adult learner has so many other problems, and multiple attempts might scare them. This is too much for me. I'm lucky if I get to do it once. The baby was crying. My wife was screaming at me, and, I'm trying to do Spanish. So I consider all this. Craig, thank you.
No at all.
I might do this all over again because I had trouble logging in the beginning.
Oh, no problem. If you want to log in and then you drop out an hour into it because you feel you're not getting, that's fine too. So
thank you so much.
Here.
Adios.
All right, I am still waiting for you.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. Okay, can you repeat for me the telephone where I can reach in it? Because this is my first time I'm going to use this system, and I'm really concerned. I want to learn, but I need extra time.
Okay, no problem. So you're looking at your screen now? You have the phone number?
Yes. ¿Are you speak Spanish?
Sí, un poco.
877-22400 extensión.
Correcto.
Yo para este teléfono y puedo seguir una persona la necesidad.
Menos, hay días que ellos están muy ocupados, como ahorita, porque el número ahora, porque es los primeros días de las clases. So, sí, llamar 4 veces la semana pasada y en 4 veces alguien en vivo y solamente una vez fue un tiempo que necesita to leave a message.
Para mensaje, que le dejo mensaje.
Sí.
Me pregunta, cuando yo llamo, cuando yo puedo conseguir una persona, ¿me puedo ir a la internet a la vez también?
Sí.
Así como haciendo ahorita.
Sí. O ellos pueden trabajar contigo con WebEx o ellos pueden entrar a su sitio, su account, y pueden trabajar allí en el mismo tiempo que tú estás en algunas partes.
Okay. ¿Puedo hablar en español con ellos? ¿Me podría dar la facilidad de español?
Sí, hay personas allí que quieren trabajar en español. Kia es una compañía que trabaja solamente con libros de textos de los idiomas. Entonces, hay personas allí, pero no sé si necesitas si hay un button como, press 2 for Spanish or yo trabajo más o menos en inglés.
Okay, bueno. Muchísimas
personas ahí que pueden hablar en español.
Bueno, pero específicamente una línea que una pueda llamar y le conecta con una persona en español. No la
llamar ahora quiero saber.
Me parece muy bien. Sería interesante porque pues entiendo el inglés y todo, pero a veces me comprendo mejor estas importantes en español.
Claro.
Las mejor en español.
Y yo entiendo más en inglés, pero puedo trabajar en español.
Me encanta. Pues bueno, muchísimas gracias. Muy interesante. Y tenemos que estar con el sistema de vida.
Gracias, felicidades.
Gracias.
Y buena suerte.
Gracias. Ok. Buena tarde. Adiós.
Adiós. Anybody else? Hi.
So might be using a printed version of the book and the workbook and manual.
Okay.
Is Centro useful to me, my class?
1,000 answers, but if you want to be using the print workbook and lab manual and Centro, or you wouldn't want your students buying.
The department decided that they're going to use printed version, so that's what the students purchased. And
okay.
I was told that I should take this this training, but I'm thinking, why would I need to use Centro if I'm using versions of everything?
Okay. You wouldn't in terms of for your students, because obviously you don't want them buying both. Nobody wants that. Let me go back to the website. For your as an instructor, what Centro for now while your students are version. So you would use Centro because you're using the printed version. That's the decision of the department. When it becomes a time where either you are the advocate or somebody else in the department says, hey, let's get rid of the printed workbook and lab manual, that's ready there for you to begin doing that. As an instructor, a lot of instructors that use Centro only as a teaching tool. The students, they don't assign anything, obviously, because the students don't have access, so they use it as a teaching tool. One of the things you could do, go to the site. Oh, sorry, wrong button. I go in here. Sorry. Submit activities as a student. Go say I have a book with, what book are you using?
Well, in two places. I'm using Dos Mundos, and I'm also using Puntos de Partida.
Okay.
And the ones that are using Dos Mundos, most of them have used copies of the book, but the ones using de Partida will have the new books.
Okay. Books have an interactive ebook. So, as an instructor, I could actually, and this is part of your teaching style. A lot of instructors that want to use more technology in the classroom, they teach in small classrooms or they teach with a computer and a projector. You may want to, as a class, book using the ebook.
Okay.
You can go on one of the activities and do the activity up on the screen.
All right.
That could be something, and this is the vocab. I can click on the radio button and actually hear the vocabulary.
Nice.
So the student or instructors do for tutorials. Again, just change it up. The students are late in the semester, and you're tired of explaining for the 19th time the difference between said and sad, or poripada, and utilize the grammar tutorials. Access the videos, show them in class, having to carry around the DVDs. You could verb charts in class, review, or because you're tired of putting them on the board. So that's
what you're showing me right now is something that I can view or the students can access on the page, right?
No, this would, if you don't have the students buy access to Centro, they don't get it.
Okay.
But you can get it from your rep. It's a teaching tool. We gladly do that all the time. It's just a way to help you be, say better, but help you teach the course in the way you want to do it.
Yes.
Do it. The other thing I was going to show you is under files, images and the transparencies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You get these in your classroom. So that might be another thing that you're using Centro for on your own without the students having bought anything. So here's one of the, I need to rotate sideways. Same image that's in the book, and now I put it up in my classroom. And so a lot of departments are you printing anymore, or you can't print transparencies. So especially if you're a new user of a book, or we also trying to save money so that the cost of our books is reduced or at least kept stable. So in a lot of cases, we're not printing the transparencies and burning all the DVDs and the CDs. It's all done electronically. So another area without having your students purchasing it.
Thank you for answering my question.
Oh, no problem. Bye. Ciao. All right. Alexa, you there?
I was on mute.
I was like, wow, am I really here all by myself? Cool. I hope. Jorge?
Traveling.
Okay. Didn't know if that's like a last minute I need to jump on a plane or...
It was last minute. He was going to do this webinar, but then he ended up, I don't know why, he didn't know before, but then realized that at the time of the webinar he was in a plane.
10,000 webinars and I can't keep track myself of where I'm supposed to be. That's why. Although he has you. So, cool. Well, that was a short one.
Right.
Hopefully, did it get worked out with the professors that we had to say?
Yeah. They called
stop
me
and
called them on Jorge's phone to help them answer their questions, and they were able to log in.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, get out of the office.
Thanks.
Okay.
This will